What's going on, my people? JC Mountain Jar. Thought that I would share some cool stuff with you that I've been learning here on a Saturday. So back home, where I'm from here in New Mexico, Cuesta and Taos, there's a mine out there, the molybdenum mine in Cuesta, New Mexico, near Red River, and it was established in 1916, Taos County. Now, molybdenum was mined. It was an underground ore, and this mine was it mined the raw ore. It didn't smelt it. It just mined it, shipped it out. Now, molybdenum, for those of you who don't know, is used to strengthen and harden steels, structural steels like for buildings, and knife steel as well. So what a lot of Japanese steels do is add the molybdenum to their steel and also the vanadium, which improves its durability and resistance. Kind of like, I guess that would be like stainless steel. So with this, with mining, my family has a history of mining. They were they were molybdenum miners. They were copper miners. They were some coal miners, and I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that they did out there back in the day. So when they mined the ore, looks like this. That's what it is. So one of the more popular Japanese steels, VG10, or one of the more popular brands in the U.S., Essie uses OS8, and OS8 has a lot of molybdenum in it. So that's this little Zancudo there, which I kind of shaved the back end there so I can throw some sparks, you know. I don't know if you guys got that, but I don't want to burn my bandana. So that's a cool little story there. So Cuesta, this is an old picture of Cuesta in the 1900s, and I was just talking to my family. Throughout the years, I wanted to see what type of knives that they were all using from back in the day. Now, my family has roots coming from Canada, crossing over Montana area with the Blackfoot Indian, down to the Mexican Americans, and then my other family, side of my family, comes from Spain, coming across, from the 13 colonies. So ranchers, so part of my family, my mom's side of the family were miners. My dad's side of the family were ranchers. The miners, my dad rarely ever carried anything to work at the mine that was really heavy in his pocket. That's something that would cause, for him to snag on a rock or a tool or anything. He carried just real simple knives. Just real, I guess, they're called pen knives, but he just liked real simple ones like this K-bar. Just something real simple. And this happens to be a pretty old one that came from my family. When I was talking to him, telling him, hey, I'm doing research on the knives that you guys grew up with, what you guys experienced, what you guys used. Some of these knives came out of the woodworks and really surprised me. So this is something that my dad would have used but this is something that belonged to my uncle, and he was happy to give it to me. So I thought that was really cool. It's made in Hong Kong, but it's a pretty cool wood scale knife, two blade. My dad actually has a. He actually gave me his electrician's knife, but I misplaced it. So when I do a cleaning on it and I got to fix a little bit of it, I'll show you guys that. One of the other knives too on the ranch end of my family was all my uncles telling me the story about my grandpa having a couple knives. Three knives, really, is what they said. So they said that often he carried a single blade, small single blade knife with an awl. So I did get this one off on eBay. It was the only single blade knife that I could find with an awl. Like, that's. So it has an awl and a single blade. And this one's made by. Let's see if we can see that. That character is hard to see. Let me put it in the light over here. Hartford Cutlery, USA. Pretty cool little knife, really. Snaps nice. That one's real slow. I thought that was cool. And my grandpa, being a rancher, usually always had something like this colonial on him. Little stockman. I sharpen these up pretty good, so I've got to be careful. And I actually kind of use this like a whittler. And when I'm out there in the woods, I particularly like this blade right here, and I just whittle with it. Pretty old one, I suppose. When I was talking to my family, 1940s, 1960s, 1940s to 1960s. Now, one thing that my dad told me is that he specifically remembers my grandpa, the rancher, having a single blade, large case knife, which I could only think of a large sodbuster. Which I'm a fan. Fits in my hand well. Would have done the job of anything that they needed it to. From peeling potatoes to skinning deer, cutting rope, or just messing with the mill. Pretty cool. Now, I got a little surprise when I was talking with my family and doing all this awesome research and sparking up conversations with everybody. By the way, got this cool Zippo, getting ready for the 4th of July. Uh, as I was talking with my family, they did share with me that my great grandpa would often carry a butcher knife. It would be his kitchen knife, it would be his butcher knife, it would be his fixed blade side knife. Supposedly, he handed that over to the next generation, and I can't say for sure if this is exactly his, but I know that this belonged to my grandma. So it was not my great grandma, it was my grandma, my dad's mom. And look what that is. Well, look at that butcher knife. A wonderful carbon on there. And it's a hefty knife, too. But I could imagine, having this as a fixed blade. Honestly, the knife that I really like carrying in the mountains is a Pathfinder knife, and it's kind of big like this. I'll show you guys in another video. But I was totally surprised when I saw who made this. Manufacturer is good old Queen Cutlery Company, made in the US of A. So I'll do a cleaning on this, or a couple things that I want to ask you guys to do for me in the comments. If you guys can tell me, if you know any other large single blade case knives, let me know in the comments. And let me know if you think if I should clean this up, because I wouldn't mind using it. Or if you think the nostalgia and the character that belongs to it should just stay the way it is and I should just keep it in honor of my granny. Well, hope you guys had fun. I always have fun with you guys. Open up that door, let the spirit in. Just feel it. Just have a good time. Have a good Saturday. JC, Mountain Ajar.